Boom. Oh, I'm banging. I just got a text. All right. Free shipping. All right. It is Wednesday evening. I am very Christmassy. I have a fireplace that doesn't actually move. But anyway, it is the Christmas season. I started my day by heading to work, and I stopped at my local coffee shop, and I wanted pretty much ordered something I want something that tastes like Christmas, and I ended up getting an ice latte, which I usually don't do, and it was peppermint bark. Peppermint bark. It was awesome. So I enjoyed that this morning. Hello, Tim. I hope you are feeling well. Hi, Andrea. I hope you're keeping to yourself. Hey, Lee. John Chase. Hello. How are you, sir? Oh, let's see. Well, Steve Betancourt is with us. Gail, isn't that nice? The background? I like it. I wish it was real, but that is just a green screen behind me. Matter of fact, I can open it now. Someone who likes me. Look at behind there is my calendar. But if I do this, is that not the coolest thing? I love green screen. I can be anywhere I want, and I have a great imagination for it. All right. Does it have a bite because it has a bark? John, are you tired? Are you tired, John? Evan Steele, latte. What's happening? I know. I saw it on the sign. It said peppermint bark. I was looking for Christmassy. I will take a latte. And then she goes, well, what kind of milk you want? What kind of milk? I said, what are my choices? She goes, well, whole. I said, whole milk. I didn't realize. I know some people get very engaged in how to describe what they're getting for a drink, and I'm just not that guy. Matter of fact, latte is really not in my vocabulary usually. Eggnog latte is my go-to. Tim, that was the next on the list, and I was struggling between the two, but peppermint sounded more Christmassy, at least this morning. Tim is quarantined until Friday because Tim has tested positive for COVID, and who else do I know? Oh, I have a pastor, a friend of mine. His wife is positive for COVID, and I just don't know what to tell you. So pray for Tim and pray for Andrea. Peppermint lattes are the best. It was very good. I nursed it probably for a couple of hours here in the office. Thank you, Phil. Our women's group really enjoys peppermint bark latte. Oh. Scarface is letting me have it. For those of you who don't know, my friend Pastor John Chase, his dog ran over his face, and so he's got like these. Looks like was attacked by a Sasquatch or something. To me, that's an excuse to maybe get rid of that dog. But I get in a lot of trouble. I got a lot of trouble. I said from the pulpit, I'm just not an animal person. Matter of fact, I think if you love your animals more than you love people, there's something wrong. And it just got dead quiet in the room. But that is how I feel. Did you like a lot of it? Was very good. It tastes suspiciously like an iced coffee. So what do I know? Hey, Russ, welcome. Thank you for coming by, buddy. Sorry I was late for yours just earlier. I was engaged in something, let's just say. All right. I'm in my office. Actually, the Chases gave me a record player. So what I did is I bought Frank Sinatra's Christmas. So I've been playing that in the office. I'm going to set my office up as a green room because, let's do that. Like and share this out. Little commercials here. Prayer requests and or praises in the comments. We'd love to know if the Lord's doing something in your life. We'd love to celebrate that. If you have need, by all means, celebrate that. We're now on YouTube. I see it right here to my right, which is this left. That's hard. I can actually mirror this and make it normal. I am in a series called Christmas at the Movies, mostly just to irk people, but I'm really enjoying it because we did Elf last week, and I really enjoyed that. It was all about joy. And it's funny how when you talk about joy to a bunch of Christians, we're all joyful way deep down inside. Oh, my head. If it could come to the surface, we could probably make a difference in people's lives. All right. And so this coming week, we're doing the Santa Claus because, let's see, Santa Claus is actually coming, yes, with one of those very loose churches who actually has Santa Claus come and just be with our kids and give out gifts. And sorry, I don't know what to tell you. We just enjoy Christmas around here in every shape and form. I know. And we're one of those. We have drums on the stage too, so we're evil. And I actually said on Sunday, I heard this. I heard this from a pastor friend of mine about an event that was going on. There was a picture. He said, it looks more like a nightclub than a church. And I said from the pulpit on Sunday, if it looked like a nightclub, there'd be people here. All right. Anyway, Christmas concert this coming Saturday. Yes, I am singing a duet with our worship lead, Becca Prince. We've been practicing. She sings in the lower registers, so she has brought me down there, and it takes a little more to push down in those lower notes for me. But I will be here singing. Our friend Evan Steele will be bringing the word, and he is working hard. I mean, he is working hard on that message, and it could go anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes. I don't know. I'm just giving him a hard time. I'm looking forward to it. So that's Saturday night at 6. Remember that time. Ugly Sweater Sunday, and I am ready. It's not actually a sweater; it's a sweatshirt because I get very warm. I'm a short, fat guy. I get very warm in a sweater, and so Ugly Sweater Sunday is a week from Sunday. So be doing that. Join us. Just join us in doing stuff, and we're going to talk about that actually in the devotion tonight. And Christmas Eve. From what I speculate is it's going to be a very casual. It's going to be me on the guitar, and just like old times. And I'm going to do my best to use none of our technology. I'm going to try to maybe use my amp, and I may have to use a microphone. But other than that, I want you to come. And matter of fact, if you want to put in the comments, I'll read them later. But what is some of your favorite Christmas hymns? Favorite Christmas hymns, church songs. I mean, I have a lot of favorite Christmas songs, but how about ones you'd sing at church on a Christmas Eve? We're going to have candles. Hold on. Because I'm afraid of code and setting off alarms because we have a very sensitive alarm system. Look at this. You'll be handed one of these babies. Look at that. And I can do this. It doesn't burn anything. And I'm very excited about that. I've never done a candlelight service, and I know some of you need fire to make it real, but there we are. All right. And then, of course, on the 25th, I am one of those pastors that I'm having Christmas on the 25th. And if you can make it, excellent. If you can't, I get it. And but we have plenty of opportunities here in the Christmas season here at Bay State for you to come and worship with us. And so I ask you to come, bring somebody with you, and we'll do the best to lead them to Jesus. What do you say? All right. And I'm missing some quotes here. Santa! All right. My cats are very hurt by this line of talk. Oh, I didn't mean cats. Cats aren't really animals. They're like people, aren't they, Russ? I said, I hate kids from the pulpit one Sunday. John, you said you hate kids? I actually said my dog should have come in a 3-pack because they're disposable. So there you go. I guess I'm not going to get... a matter of fact, I followed some of my comments lately up with, I'm not going to get any Christmas cards this season. Not good. I was also called my ex-wife's name from the pulpit. Not cool. All right, so that's a prayer request from Pastor John Chase right here. All right. Praise that Frank is gaining more and more strength each day. Awesome. Thank you, Gail. See, Gail listens to me. That's cool. Go, Evan. That's true. The length is unknown, but I've talked to him. He's going to, whatever length it takes, he's just going to say that the Spirit led him. That always seems to fix it. And I'm looking forward to hearing from Evan. Look at this, Evan. Evan can't do better than me. That's all there is to it. I'm forgiven. Thank you, Russ. I appreciate it. I know how you are with Russ. Oh, and what's the other one's name? Russ. Oh, I just lost the points I gained back. I'm sorry. Well, I got 50. House of Hope gifts to do back this Sunday. Yes. And I blame leadership is one of the slogans here at Bay State Baptist Church. All right, I'm going to bring you to a quick Bible study. We're not in a book. We had finished a book just before Thanksgiving. I took last week off because truly I was actually here setting up, and I got a couple of texts, and I just said, you know what? I just can't. And things are weird. So, keep us in prayer if you would. Things are just Ross and Monica. Thank you, Andrea. Again, Russ, your cats are famous at my church that they brought it to my attention. And so, just keep us in prayer. Life is a little weird. We're taking care of, and when I say we, it's mostly Sandy. We're taking care of family, and it's difficult, and there's a lot of stress, and we're trying to find the joy in everything in the season. And Evan's going the full 30 minutes. Dave, I bet he will. I bet he will, and I bet every single minute of it will be great. All right, so I brought up the Bible on your screen. Let me bring it up on my screen, and we're going to read a Christmas portion here in Matthew chapter 1, verse 26 to 38. See, I know what Evan is speaking on Saturday, so I was going to do it tonight. No, I wouldn't do that to him. Luke chapter 1, in verse 26, the angel Gabriel shows up. Now, Gabriel's mentioned like 3 times in the scripture in like hundreds of years, separating the appearance of him. He speaks to the prophet Daniel. He speaks to Mary. Oh, and who's the other one? There was another one. Well, at any rate. Verse 26, in the 6 months of Elizabeth's pregnancy. Now, Elizabeth is Mary's cousin who is pregnant now 6 months with John the Baptist. All right. And God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a village in Galilee, to a virgin named Mary. And she was engaged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of King David. Gabriel appeared to her and said, "Greetings, favored woman," highly favored. All right. "The Lord is with you." Now, I want you to know in my Bible, on my computer, see the B? That means there's a footnote. If we flung down here, it means some manuscripts say, "Blessed are you among women." You might have been familiar with that. A lot of Catholic services that you'll hear that repeated over and over again. And so, "Greetings, favored woman, the Lord is with you." Confused and disturbed, Mary tried to think what the angel could mean. "Don't be afraid, Mary," the angel told her, "for you have found favor with God. You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you will name him Jesus. He will be very great and will be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord God will give him the throne of his ancestor David, and he will reign over Israel forever. His kingdom will never end." And Mary asked the angel, "But how can this happen? I am a virgin." In verse 35, and the angel replied, "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. So the baby to be born will be holy, and he will be called the Son of God. What's more, your relative Elizabeth has become pregnant in her old age. People used to say she was barren, but she has conceived a son and is now in her 6th month. For the word of God will never fail." Again, see the little D here? Let's fling down to the bottom. D says, some manuscripts read, "There is nothing impossible for God." All right. And then finally, really the key for tonight is Mary responded, "I am the Lord's servant. May everything you have said about me come true." And then the angel left her. Now, as parents, if you have kids, it's one of those rites of passage, I think, for parents, is when they transition from that, do I have to? And then they grow into adulthood and they mature and then they just do stuff. I heard one pastor teach me this, and I believe there's a certain accuracy to it, that the difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament is the difference between a child and an adult. Is in the Old Testament, if you do this and if you don't do that, I'm going to hit you with a stick. I'm going to punish you. That's the Old Testament. New Testament is, I wish you would do this because you love me. Difference between a child and adult. And so as for those of us who've had children, we've heard, "Do I have to?" And again, I've used that illustration all the time. I've heard that throughout my lifetime as a dad, and Sandy as a mom, is, "Do I have to?" No, you don't have to. You get to. And so that's the difference between adults. It's nothing. There's a verse that says, "There's no greater joy that knowing that my children walk in truth." So when your children who as they're growing up, especially in our family at any rate, they shared my faith. and then to watch them grow into adulthood and they choose and have their own faith, that is huge. That is huge. That is huge. And so there's a difference between obligation and willingness. It's one thing to do something because we're obligated to do it. It's another thing to do it willingly without thought of reward. I make blanket statements that just happen to be true. Like, for instance, I think Christians sing. I think Christians especially sing during Christmas time. I don't care. We all make fun of certain songs. I don't care. I'll bet money you're listening. You know, it's funny. I was thinking the other day, I have a CD, a Christmas CD by Barry Manilow. He's Jewish. But hey, I enjoy the songs, and I have Frank Sinatra now, and I almost picked up the Bing Crosby one because I'm old, and I just love some of the old things and some of the singers that some of you never even heard of, and I love that. But there is a certain thing where Christians sing, Christians go to church. I believe Christians go to church, but Christians serve. Christians serve not out of obligation or duty, but because they get to. Because they were served. And so imagine if when the angel Gabriel approached Mary with the message of her conceiving Jesus, she had to, what if she turned around and said, oh, do I have to? Wouldn't that change the whole story? Because Mary's not made to do this. And Mary just, now that's why we're sitting on verse 38. Mary responded, I am the Lord's servant. Little theology for you. When Mary says she's the servant of the Lord, she probably means it. And again, just some people have made Mary more than she even claimed to be. And she says, listen, right here, she says, I'm the Lord's servant. And in the original language, Lord's servant is where we would get the word bond servant, which now, if you want to, and I won't do it tonight, but if you want to go back to Deuteronomy, where bond servants were explained, the idea was this: if you wanted to sell yourself to me as a worker in my house, which you'd be my slave, you'd be my bondservant. Actually, you'd be my slave. And then after 6 years, according to the law of Moses, I had to set you free. But let's say you work for me for 6 years and you find me charming and just wonderful to be with, and you decide, you know what, I love you, I love this family, and I want to stay. You can do that. You're allowed to do that. And there was an earring that came with the deal, and you read it. As a matter of fact, here's Deuteronomy chapter 15, verses 12 to 18. Okay, you can see it. But when you gave up from being a slave, then you became a bond servant, which indicates that it had an idea. This Scott Maiden dealing with his stuff out there, where he is at Relate Church. John Chase, who's Barry Manilow? Oh my goodness, John, you come on. You used to watch Christmas specials in black and white like I did. So Mary responded, I am the Lord's servant. May everything you have said about me come true. Christians serve. Christians serve. It's not out of obligation. She didn't respond, do I have to? No, she realized she got this honor. Matter of fact, this is just something I learned over the years, is if you go all the way back to Genesis in the fall of man, and we get thrown out of the Garden of Eden, but they're promised a coming Messiah. Right there in Genesis chapter 3 and verse 15 is the first mention of Jesus, if you want to look at it that way, is the coming Messiah. He will come, the seed of the woman will come, which is the seed of the woman. It's not the seed of the man, which is fascinating, which makes Jesus sinless, and there's so much theology here, but in Genesis chapter 3 and verse 15, where it mentions that the seed of the woman will come and crush the serpent's head while the serpent is biting his heel. And I actually added words there, but you go ahead and look that up. And so every woman, matter of fact, Eve got pregnant and had a child, and she said, I've had a child, I've had a man of the Lord. And actually in the original language, the connotation is, I've had the Messiah. God just promised, and presto, I've had a boy. It's got to be him. And she thought, and every Orthodox Jewish girl wanted to be the mom of the Messiah. So Mary here in verse 38, she's not going to go, oh, do I have to? No, she didn't think she was worthy. And she said, this is awesome. I hope I'm not hallucinating. I'm reading into it. I'm hoping not. May everything you have said about me come true. And then the angel left. She says, I get to. Christians serve, especially around this time. We're doing a lot of giving drives around here at our church, and I hope you're part of that. I hope when we offer stuff that you're part of that. Christians serve. We serve one another. And again, I'm kind of blunt from our pulpit. If you don't want to serve, if you have the attitude, oh, do I have to? No, you don't. Please don't. Please don't. I actually have some things I say from the pulpit. You can ask these guys, Pastor John, that I believe that Christians give, and not only do they give, but they give cheerfully. And if you can't give cheerfully, keep it. Keep it. My God is bigger. My pastor taught me, my God is bigger than your wallet. All right. I actually teach giving because if I don't, it robs you of a blessing. And that's the only reason I do it. I don't want anything from you. I want something for you. And so Mary here had already passed from obligation in her maturity to the willingness when it came to serving God. That's why she described herself as the maid servant of the Lord. I am the Lord's servant, bond servant. I have worked and been a slave, and I have been set free, but no, I want to be part of this. I want to be part of this. And so maidservant in the Greek translation is the word we get bondservant from, a servant who has willingly placed him or herself into submission to the master. And the roots of this notion comes from Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 12 and 18. Truly, this is just my devotion for today out of my book. And when a freed slave chose out of love to remain a servant to the master's household, Mary was ready and willing to serve. Christians serve. So let Mary be the example for us this Christmas season, an example of willing service to God and others. And actually, I have a little quote at the bottom here. It says, John Calvin, famous preacher, said this: the highest honor in the church is not government, but service. But service. I love that. That's why we call our deacons at our church, we call them servants, because that's what the word means. And it takes the romance out of it. For some reason, deacons became like second in control and authoritative. No, that you're servants. You clean tables. That's the whole passage. And so we call people servants around here. And Jesus said, and it's one of my favorites, is Jesus talking to his disciples, and he said, who's more important, the one who sits at the table or the one waiting on the table, the server? And everybody said, well, of course, the person sitting at the table is the most important. He says, but not here. He said, I am among those who serve. But also, I learned this quote, and it haunts me, and I want it to haunt you, that, think about this, the greatest test of a servant is when he's treated like one. Because I have also noticed over 30 years of ministry that when you serve people, we're getting more and more in our society that they're more than willing to let you serve them. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So when you are treated like a servant, how are you doing? And that tells you a lot about where your heart is. And so, Merry Christmas to you. I hope it's a season of service. And I think that would be awesome. All right. Well, what do we got? Look at, I have time. Look at, I'm actually like on time tonight. Let's see. Hopefully not for everyone's sake. Oh, Evan, you take your time, buddy. I have full confidence. I'm letting you stand behind and stand on my platform. And I want you to know, I don't let just everybody do that, but I have full confidence you are the man. John Chase, giving me a hard time. Scott Maiden, pray for Scott and his lovely bride, because she has tested positive for COVID. And knowing him, he's probably been hanging around her. So, he can be. You can't smile without Barrymore. You also can't laugh and you can't sing. Thank you, Steve. Steve knows who that is. Absolutely. Hi, Sandy. Oh, you've already... Oh, she must be picking up the girl now. My daughter usually works. That's deep. Well, I'm not sure what I said, John, but feel free to use it. Hey, Lee. Amen, Pastor. Have a good night. Thank you. You're welcome, baby. You have a good night. I find it hard to do anything. All right. Well, I'm surprised you didn't go with Buck Owens. I have Buck Owens. I'm at a straight betwixt two, is as the King J version would say, is I grew up on Buck Owens' Christmas. It was a dual album. I remember it to this day. I know what the cover looks like, and when you opened it up, Santa was on the inside, and I have it on my computer, but I can't transfer it onto my phone, and I don't like that at all. There, I said it. Tim Chase, who's Bay State, and with the throwing up, that is not very nice or Christmassy. You need to take away your name. Don't represent the church and badmouth Buck Owens. Oh, hey, I got 5 minutes left. Let's see. I'm gonna read you a couple of random trivia things. How about that? Ready? Pray for us. Looks like we'll have some bonus kids for the next few weekends. Things will be busy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very good. We'll be praying for that. Evan and Bridget do some foster caring and usually emergency situations and stuff. And they will have kids for this weekend, which of course is the weekend he'll be speaking because that's how ministry goes. My office is decorated wonderfully. Thank you, Browns. Isn't it nice? I had to, add an addition and raise the roof so I could put that tree in here. Let's see. What do we got here? What do we got? Anything good? I'm going to I'll pick out a couple of random. Nope, not that one. Doodle-doo-doo. All right. Nope, we all know that one. All right, this is a true and false. Portland, Maine is farther north than Portland, Oregon. True or false? True or false? Portland, Maine is farther north than Portland, Oregon. True or false? Is that John Chase? John Chase was the first one. Oh, Tim Chase says true. And I usually rely on Tim for stuff like this. Sandy says false. He had to eliminate Brian's out. The fireplace seemed worth it. No doubt about it. And Brian was okay. He'll be working from home from now on. False. The answer actually is false, according to this blue card. All right. Oh. At 12,500 square kilometers, Lake Vostok, Vostok, is the world's sixth largest lake and is located on which continent? Which continent is Lake Vostok? Vostok. It is 12,500 square kilometers. Asia is one of the choices. I didn't give you the choices because you guys are smart. John, it's not Asia. And there's only a few continents. So Sandy says Asia as well. Think colder. Think colder than Asia. Evan says Asia. All right, here's the choices. Asia, Antarctica, or Europe. And I'm telling you, it's not. It's Antarctica. Thank you, Tim. All right. Oh. Oh, here's a good one. Name 3. Is it really a lake if it's always frozen? I don't know if it's frozen. You know how that climate change thing is. Name 3 of the 4 chess pieces that can move diagonally on the chessboard. 3 chess pieces. Nope. Name 3 of the 4 chess pieces that can move diagonally on the chessboard. Just saying that on my screen, I'm first every time. Yes, no doubt in my mind, Sandy. Name 3 of the 4 chess pieces that can move diagonally on the board. Hold on. Bishop, Queen, King. According to my screen, it was Tim, but Evan says Bishop, Pawn, Queen, King. He names all 4 of them. Is that right? King, Queen, Bishop, Pawn. Go, Evan. Tim was the first with the 3 out of the 4. Evan comes up behind with all 4 to show off. And John Chase has been probably at the eggnog again. King, queen, and prince. Oh, and Michelle Becker. There you go. That a girl. All right, how about one more? It's 8 o'clock straight up. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I don't know why I still have that one in my hand. Nope. I wish I had Christmas ones, but we all know the Christmas trivia now, don't we? I'll find one. It's got to be good. Here's a question. Which mystery writer is the best-selling modern novelist? I kind of knew this one. Which mystery writer is the best-selling modern novelist? John Chase, you're a big reader. A little too much Purple Rain, if you know what I mean. I do. Stephen King. No, Stephen King is more horror, I believe, the genre. Stephen King, Michelle Becker. This is a mystery writer. I bet if you think about it, they're older, this person. Matter of fact, I don't think they are still alive. And I have a final. Stephen King. Oh, and John Chase. Agatha Christie is correct. She is still considered modern day. All right. And Evan comes up again with John Grisham. No. Just no. Oh, which one was it? All right, here's a Battlestar Galactica question for those of you who remember Battlestar Galactica. In the television series Battlestar Galactica, what is the mythical 13th colony? In the television series Battlestar Galactica, what is the mythical 13th colony? R2-D2. Tomato. 13th colony. And Tim Chase says Earth, and he is correct. And then in the 1980s, they actually found Earth. Remember that? Battlestar Galactica, 1980, which goes down in history as one of the worst shows ever, I guess. But I remember it was on briefly. I don't think it was a full season. But there we go. Guys, so you remember everything that I announced. We have more opportunities to worship, celebrate Christmas. I hope you take advantage of some of those things. This Saturday at 6 at our church will be a Christmas concert. We will be full up with music, and our guest speaker will be none other than Brother Evan Steele. And he's doing a great job. We have talked, and he's told me what he's going to talk about, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm psyched. I only have to sing backup for Becca. And so things are good. But then again, pray for Christmas Eve. It'll be a very casual Christmas Eve. I think it's going to be me and some Christmas carols. I've asked Brian McGrath, the good Brian, for those of you who go to Bay State, he will be bringing a little devotion about frankly, the Christmas story and Mary again. So that's cool. Modern. She was born in the 1800s. The little blue cards do not lie. All right. They just don't. So, and you were wrong about Portland. So calm down out there in Dunstable. All right, guys. It is 8:04. Love you. Thank you for coming by. And thank you for enjoying my decor. I'm going to go home and eat something and be with my wife. Love you guys. For those of you who are doing other churches on Sunday, by all means, have a great Christmas. In this Christmas season, I'm enjoying it. So here, again, Christians serve. So let's serve one another. And what is it? What is that verse? Provoke unto good works, provoke. See, we're good at provoking, but provoking unto good works, that takes a little more thought. So with that having been said, have a good evening, and I'll see you.